Okay, guys. So Jason Sudeikis is held up a little bit, but right now, Leslye Headland and Alison Brie, please help them get here on the stage.
Hi.
How's it going, guys?
Good.
So this is a great little, like I was saying before, it's not exactly a romantic comedy. It's not really, it's a little bit more than that. There's more going on. Where'd you come up with a story for this?
I think I just wanted to write a movie that was a modern romance that if you were a real cynic about love like myself, I had just gotten out of a couple relationships because I had several going on at one time. And I was just this is horrible. I was dating's horrible.
What?
Hi.
Here we go. Jason Sudeikis has joined us on stage.
Hi.
Who's that? I'd met Jason. He and I had met a couple years ago, and I really wanted to work with him. And I'm a big Community fan. That's right. Just real quickly.
Movie.
My big Community joke is Community isn't going to rewatch itself, so we all better settle down and get into it. But yeah, so, it just came from wanting to make a romantic movie for cynics, which is where When Harry Met Sally for Assholes came from, was that it's not quite the movie, but it was sort of a shorthand to say, if you don't like romance, or if you don't believe in love, or if you're really down about dating, I think this is a really good movie to go see. Because I think it'll lift your spirits, and I think it also talks about some things that are sort of, the shitty parts of dating, the realistic parts of dating, so...
And I think, Alison, Jason, I think it'd be fair to say you guys have done your share of the romantic comedy genre. And what about the script sort of took you, off? I imagine some of it's off balance a little bit. It's a lot of changes. What do you guys think when you first read the script? Alison and then Jason, if you could.
I would say that first off that I'm sorry.
I just loved it.
I'm sorry that I was late. I'm sorry I was late.
I really, really liked it, responded to it immediately.
I know, but I got to get this out of the way. This apology is really important to me. What was the question? No. It was
a surprising script to read. There's a lot of twists.
Absolutely.
You would expect it to end one way, and it really takes you for a loop.
I think when this movie is not prefaced by people telling you it's a romantic comedy, you don't just immediately assume that. So when a script is sent to me and Leslye Headland has written it and is going to direct it, I know it's going to be awesome. And then I start reading it, and it does take all these twists and turns, and the characters are incredible, and their relationships are interesting and are constantly changing. And that I find really interesting. And I'm not how interesting for a rom-com. I'm just what an interesting script, what an interesting movie this could be if I were in it.
I was, I read earlier drafts of the one that we ended up shooting, and even the things that cut out, and even the things got edited out were just as interesting as the stuff that was in there. And and the thing that I've said time and time again when being asked or forced to speak about it is that I was flattered, to be thought of while it was being written, and then to the opportunity to get to do it was very flattering. But I found it to be, smart and respectful towards everything that has led up all movies and the genre of romantic comedies and everything leading up to that point. It's very much a love letter as much to that as it is to the characters themselves.
Yeah, and speaking of love letters, it takes place here in New York.
Oh, yeah. It's a New York movie. Woo. We shot it here.
Awesome.
In a very short amount of time.
Yep.
And you probably recognize some places that you've been before.
Right, yeah. So talk to us a little bit about filming here in New York and how you found the locations for the movie, if it was...
Well, I love big New York movies, like old school Woody Allen, or, Woody Allen, or, who else? New school Woody Allen, old school Woody Allen.
The original King Kong.
The original King.
It's just like that.
Gangs of New York. Just, classic New York.
I Am Legend.
Vanilla Sky.
All the biggies. Your classic NYC
just
post-apocalyptic. Hey, there's
So that was what we
weeds.
were really inspired by. It was sort of the post-apocalyptic New York City, and no, but we did want to sort of showcase New York and all aspects of it. And I think that not a lot of indie films can afford to do that, and so we had to get very creative. And we did Upper West Side, we did Chinatown, we did great. You saw some of the downtown skyline there. We just hopped on a boat. Literally got on a
Guerrilla
boat.
style.
It was like the cheapest way of doing it. It was just like, can we get on a boat? Like, they can't charge us if we get on a boat. And they were like, no. And I was like, great, let's get on a boat.
We'll re-record all the lines later. We'll ADR it all later.
You guys were like
Get
on
the
the boat, like, this is
dialogue.
never gonna work. We're all gonna be in a booth.
Loud ass boat.
The motor alone of the boat was like, this is what? It's a visual medium. That's what we just kept telling ourselves.
Birthday party.
And so, what do you guys think about filming here in New York? How did you guys like filming here in New York? And how many days was it filmed in again?
25.
Wow, that's very impressive. But how was it filming in New York, guys?
It was great because it's home for me. I imagine it's great because it's a wonderful place to visit. Don't want to put words in your mouth.
Keep going for
Okay.
me. Here, wait. But be me answering the question. I grew up in LA. Go from there. It's the first movie I shot in New York. Go from there.
Oh wow! It's the first movie you shot there, and and it was great. The shopping, and per diem, to use for the shopping.
And there's one Chinese restaurant that they keep on going back to that seems to be their
yeah.
spot. And where was that? Where did you guys film
I think
that?
it was actually called Big Wong's.
It was in Chinatown.
Wasn't it called? Was that what it was called? It's in Chinatown. I mean, it's literally on Mott Street or something.
That's
Chinatown.
awesome.
But it was something. It was something. It was either like. It was something that as we were walking in, I was like, "Don't shoot the outside of this." Whatever you do.
And there's a lot of heart to hearts in this restaurant, and I think we're going to show a clip of the first.
Oh,
sort
yeah.
of,
Yeah, that's our first clip.
pathetic, so let's show that, and then we'll talk about it.
It's true. It's true.
I love that little shoulder.
My sister
Sachet.
Kristen, who's a dancer, will definitely like that. She'd be like, "Oh, it's very Fosse." It's like I try to put at least one Fosse move in every movie that I do.
Now
from
go
now
back and
on.
watch
no,
them
from now
all.
on. From now on, I just came up with that. Don't look. It might be in there already. It might be. What do you do?
So I feel like we're really picking up on their chemistry together, and you said Jason was there early. So how did you decide on the two of them together and that they would work together? Well,
I just.
like they're not even here. Let's talk about. Yeah.
It's just a classic Hollywood casting couch story, I think.
It was
No,
a futon.
a lot of,
It was a
It was a
futon.
futon, actually.
No,
It didn't
no.
even. It was a mattress. But sleeping bag. What happened? Our producer Jessica Elbaum was working. Who also produced my other film Bachelorette. Was working on Get Hard. And we were looking for a leading lady, and she said, "What about Alison Brie?" And both Jason and I both went, "Huh? Is she available?"
Oh, did
And-
you both make that sound? Oh.
Yeah, at the same time.
Oh.
I've never denied.
Making that sound.
And they, Allie read the script very quickly, and we met the next morning after that.
It was like they were at dinner that night, sent the script to me
Yeah.
while they're at dinner. She had an email a few hours later being
Yeah.
like, "Can you meet with her tomorrow?" And
I
the
was
next
like,
day we were together.
Yes, and the next day we were together, just jamming out.
Was it from
Yeah.
the dinner that we had?
Yeah.
Like in Laurel Canyon?
Yeah.
I'll be darned.
Yeah.
I remember that
Everyone's
dinner.
And
learning
you
something
said,
today.
you were like, a year from now, I bet Allie is going to be sitting at that extra seat. Because there was like an extra seat, like a ghost seat.
Yeah,
We
we
haven't
were
done it.
3 at a 4 top.
So
At a
what?
4-top, yeah.
And the
So when are
waiter was
we-
furious because they knew that would affect the tip.
Yeah, yeah.
And when you guys are reading lines like this, I mean, you're down on days. You don't have tons of days to spend. It's an indie film. Are you guys worried about cracking at all? I mean, these lines are hilarious. The lines that Leslye wrote are hilarious. So she doesn't think so.
I'm the only one that was breaking. I was like on the monitor, like laughing.
But
My
it was
DP
the
would be like,
question-
"Stop laughing."
Was the question on our down days? Are we worried about laughing too much?
I mean, you guys are down on days. I mean, as far as the amount
Shooting
of days you
days.
have to film.
oh, we're down.
Yeah.
I was like, on our days off, were we cracking up
And what we
by
did?
ourselves? I mean, yeah.
Sure.
But how did you know?
I was there. I was there the whole time. You guys didn't realize. Yeah. So, did you guys find yourselves cracking a lot? Obviously, Jason, from your SNL background, you're experienced in that sort of thing, keeping a
Yeah.
straight face.
In not breaking.
Yeah, I don't really break. I try not to, because I mean I've read the whole script, so I know what's going to happen. So that's a good trick.
I feel like it didn't count. It wouldn't really count as breaking any, like, especially when we were in scenes together.
Yeah.
If something was said that was unexpected, it just
just
fueled
friends making each other laugh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if we were able to, you'll see me laugh in scenes
Yeah.
after he says something funny because I feel like that's what a person would do, and it was fun. It sort of just
Wait, so you were
fueled the
faking it?
I mean, I was.
This is what a human
I mean,
being would
this
do
is
if
what
they were in
someone
this
would
situation.
do.
Because people would find this funny.
Is this how humans laugh?
Pretty good.
No, I meant that they kept it in because it made sense for our chemistry that we would be laughing
I was
together.
joking. It's all right.
It's great.
But I think that's true. Yeah, I mean, but then also you don't have a lot of time, like you're saying. I mean, because if you don't have a lot of days, that means you don't have a lot of time during those short days. So, and then there's always somebody holding a microphone that all I ever think about is their shoulder muscles. And when we're, we get free sneakers and
Right.
like
about the crew.
paid well for this, and then this guy's just.
Come on,
Smart
dude.
ass, just say the fucking words. Let me go
wanna get
home. Time and time again, I think about that guy or gal, and
Well,
it's
classic
just
character that you played. The
based
boom
on that
operator.
exact thing. I wrote a sketch about the boom guy on 30 Rock that I was always like, this dude fucking hates me. And then I just concocted this whole backstory. And then, did an SNL sketch with Julia Louis-Dreyfus and then one with LeBron James and one with Paul
So
Rudd.
good.
Yeah, playing like a guy
YouTube
who just had
that,
a
guys,
chip
if
on
you
his
haven't
shoulder.
Seen it, it's so good. But one of those scenes that I'm talking about, I think, is the Molly scene, which we're going to see up here. And it's a little bit is in the trailer where you guys
yeah.
are just playing on drugs. I mean, were you Googling what Molly does to you? Or you telling
Googling it.
Yeah.
A lot of research when asking people.
Not drawing from personal.
I directed it on Molly
experience.
though. Like
Yeah.
I didn't have to be on camera,
That's
so I just
very,
went.
yeah,
I went-
immersive.
I got immersive with it. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, let's show that clip and let's see what we're talking about here. Okay, guys. So we're gonna throw to you guys for questions in 1 second, but I just feel like we have to talk about the supporting cast in this.
Oh, yeah,
who
yeah.
can't be here? I mean, Billy Eichner, Jason Mantzoukas. I mean, it goes on and goes
Andrea
on.
Andrea Savage,
Savage,
Natasha
Amanda
Lyonne.
Pete, Adam Scott,
Adam Brody.
Adam Brody is so good.
Adam Brody.
Yeah, he's fantastic.
Adam Brody.
Adam Brody.
Natasha Lyonne.
Natasha Lyonne.
We got a bunch of people in there.
We actually did.
Adam Brody.
I
Who
already
are we
said
missing?
Adam Brody.
Who did we miss?
Adam Brody.
Yeah. Oh, got
okay.
it. Yeah.
So, let's throw to you guys, and there's people here with mics, and just wait for them to call on you.
Oh, it's me already. Hi, I'm really excited about the movie. I just had a quick question for Allison. I want to congratulate you on being a producer now of the TV show
you.
Teacher. It's going to be on
Thank
TV Land
you.
in January.
Yes.
Yes, it's a plug. Just, put it out
He
there.
works for TV Land.
I'm here. She paid
plan.
me. But
It's a plan.
I just wanted to, I've been working on a web series for the last 5 years, and I was, we've had a lot of good reviews and good responses, but we're kind of ready for the next step. And I was wondering if you had any advice on how to transition a show from the web to the sitcom, how to get it to the right people, et cetera.
I know. I don't know how. I was going to say get it to every person, and that's how eventually it gets to the right person. Is like I was putting feelers out there. This is something I'm interested in being on the opposite side of. Those girls were sending that to everyone, and sent it through WME and a bunch of just the more eyes that are on it, the better, I think.
Hello, congratulations on the movie. You guys mentioned that you produced it in you filmed it in 25 days, and that sounds very expedited. Was that experience different than other projects you'd worked on, and how do you think that impacted the final product in the end?
Oh, I shot Bachelorette in 23 days, so this was like a walk in the park.
That's really impressive. That's awesome.
I had 2 extra days this time, and a day of additional photography.
Yeah.
So it was actually 26 days.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
So then, yeah, easy breezy.
So this was simple.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we all come. Obviously, you're doing SNL where the turnaround is crazy, and working on Community and Mad Men. It's everything has always been really fast paced. I guess I would say that working on other movies, sometimes you have a little bit more time, but I didn't feel like we were rushed or like anything. I thought it was the perfect amount of time. We had rehearsals a week before. Everyone knew what. Just working with a bunch of pros.
Yeah. I just had to be off book. You had to show up memorized. Which, I learned on the 24th day. But yeah, that helps. But yeah, I think that every single thing that is would be a negative. You can. Charlie Day would say this all the time when we were making A Horrible Bosses 1 and 2. Is like, just make it a virtue. Like it's all coming from like an improv background. It's all a suggestion towards what the product will be. But it's like the destination is not part of our plan. It is in Leslie's position, but for us, it's just like it's like the doing of it, the journey of it. And so if it's windy out, if it's rainy out, if it's like this person's weird, or this child doesn't have their lines memorized, or this actor doesn't have it, you just got to roll with it and go. And to have 25 days is actually more of a benefit sometimes than having 50 days, depending on the story. I'm sure 50 days would have been helpful to you, but you can't tell from looking at it that it took 25 and that it was rushed. And I think that's just more about attitude than it is anything else.
I totally agree with everything Jason said.
Me
For
too.
once.
Love him.
Yeah. Hey.
Hello.
Hi.
My name is Rance.
Hi.
I love your work. I love Horrible Bosses and Horrible Bosses too.
Thank you.
As I am an actor, and I'm trying to kind of break in and do things that aren't necessarily the dwarf and the leprechaun type stuff. And I was just wondering if you had any
Same.
tips.
Yeah.
I was wondering if you had any tips based on your experiences. Not trying to do those roles,
Right.
as a unique character who's kind of just trying to break into the industry and show people that, hey, I'm a talented guy, and I'd like to really act and show my chops.
Yeah. Do you write? Do you write it all?
Yeah, work on my own videos.
Yeah.
Doing that.
I mean, at the end of the day, I think any of us have felt the idea of being pigeonholed based on, and that's a lot of times based on other people's lack of imagination, usually not our own. I don't mean to speak for you guys, but like whether it being like, a straight white dude or like, pretty white gal or like, or Allison, like it's like the three of us all have sort of our things. Yeah. And I think that unless someone you come across someone like Leslye who then sees this other side of you that maybe you haven't got to show with other people, then you gotta make it. You got to make it yourself, or find the people out there that will help you make it. There's like no trick other than doing it. And I mean, in this store alone, you can buy all the items you need to make such a thing.
It's
and
true,
like,
yeah.
And it's a great equalizer, and it's a great giant middle finger to give anybody that's ever put you in a box, whether, metaphorically or otherwise. It's like to like show that you can do it and that you are more than, the vessel that you're, being delivered to us in. That's the only way, I think, to really do it and feel like you have some sort of control over it. Otherwise, you're just left to other people's imagination or lack thereof. And what's the point of that? Yeah, no problem, man. Best of luck.
Hello, thank you for coming out tonight. I have just a general question with filmmaking, I guess this particular film as well. What are some of the things you've learned along the way in terms of that you weren't anticipating for some obstacles for this film? And I'm new to filmmaking, and I'm learning a lot in New York in particular. I just recently moved here, so what are some tips or advice that you have for me as well?
Are you a director or a writer?
Writer, and I'm kind of learning about all the different facets of making a movie, but definitely writer first and foremost. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I think that definitely something that I like to say to, especially women who are interested in filmmaking, is just say yes when you get the opportunity to do something. Don't sort of overthink it and go like, well, I'm not sure if this is exactly what I want to do, or I don't know if I could direct a movie. I don't really have the I don't really have the experience to do this, or I'm not sure I'm talented enough, or I'm not sure it's ready. Like just do everything before you're ready to do it. Like say yes and do everything before you're ready to do it. And somebody told me that, and I really, certainly through my 20s, really carried that with me as probably the best piece of advice I got as a writer and now eventually a director, is just don't wait till you're ready. Just go and do it. So.
This question's for Jason. You mentioned that the film was shot in New York City. Can you talk a little bit about the concept of giving back to a place that helped you grow and what that means to you to come back and actually film in a place and tell everyone else how great of the city this is?
Oh, I don't know if I can speak. I mean, there are people a lot smarter and more successful than myself that I think prove that time again. I mean, hell, I was really, really, excited that we got to show it at Tribeca. We got to screen it there, and because before that exact reason, like it wouldn't exist. I mean, it's almost cliche to say New York's like another character in the film, but it really is, and it's a remarkable thing that puts a vitality into every sort of movie that's done here or scene that's done here, because there's so much energy around you. Sometimes it's energy you want, like a crazy person screaming from their apartment to shut up, or being mad at you for closing off their block. Other times it's unwarranted, like photographers like chasing you around, or when you're trying to remember a real long complicated monologue. But still, it adds a verve to it that you wouldn't possibly get like if we filmed it back home in Kansas, for me. And but I can't really that's all I can really say about it. I can't speak with authority on because there's people that have done it hundreds of times before us, and we'll do it 100 times hopefully afterwards, and even more so if we get a tax credit in New York?
Yeah, we did.
Oh, we did.
Yeah.
So I think that type of legislation is really helpful for states. You see it, it thriving in Georgia right now, in Louisiana. You see it, it just been voted out in Michigan and North Carolina. It's always a bummer to see, having worked in those places, and to get to do it at home is fantastic, because the crews are amazing and characters unto themselves, and you can't help but have a fun conversation on the way home with the transpo guy that's probably driven everybody from Daniel Day-Lewis to Rosario Dawson. It's like you're just one of many. You feel like a cog in a wheel, and there's always someone bigger and more important than you around every corner here. And I think that's staying humble and staying hungry is in the DNA of this town, and it's a good one.
Definitely. Okay, guys. So one more hand for Leslye Headland, Alison
Thanks,
Brie,
guys.
and Jason Sudeikis.
Thank you so much.
The film is
Thanks for
Sleeping
having
with
us.
Other People.
Thanks, guys.